Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Hedera and HBAR, as well as a vast majority of things as well, surrounding, mainly tokenization, right? Because as we look at tokenization, I think that this is going to be the biggest area of opportunity around this type of technology, especially in the next couple years going forward on. One thing that I will note right now is that as we do look at coin market cap, the market cap of crypto globally is about roughly $1.13 trillion. We know that it hit about roughly $3 trillion at its topping point back in November of 2021. Today, more than ever, everyone is focused on quick gains. How can we get rich quick out of crypto? And I think that this is probably one of the biggest errors right now around this market. We are witnessing the rise of Web3, and ultimately we are witnessing the rise of this type of technology to disrupt and work within our global system, meaning our global financial system, which will ultimately shake every single aspect of everyday life. Now, one thing that I will note is that when we go over to Hedera, currently speaking, this is a $2 billion market cap project. Mind you, as we look at $2 billion, it's not, this is the amount of money that it's not nothing, right? But in the grand scope of things, yes, it's practically droplets of water in a bucket. One thing that I mentioned recently on Twitter was talking about that $867 trillion article that was predicted by the World Economic Forum around blockchain technology and what it could disrupt in terms of tokenization. Now, I said the path forward is so damn clear to me that crypto is the future. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The change that will come from this blockchain/DLT over the next decade will reshape our lives. This will be bigger than any technology revolution we have seen. I have been hyper-focused on projects that are disrupting key areas that are very valuable/ripe for disruption. And I did mention a few projects, and HBAR was one of them, and many others are here to upgrade significant pieces of the global puzzle. Many people are asleep at one of the most crucial times in our society. Those that are here researching, studying, focused on what is happening and still unaffected by the shakeouts, you will win. Great things take time, the plan is in place, and the digital future is inevitable. You are either prepared or you will be left behind. You decide. And yes, I believe that there is going to be the new 1%. 99% of those individuals that are, around the space will most likely get shaken out by price action. They will get shaken out by regulatory issues and things like that. But that 1% that will be here, that becomes the new 1%. Those are going to be the individuals that are still here studying, researching, and focused on the end goal. $867 trillion is a vast amount of money. And a lot of people are kind of confused on where this money will come from. Like how they calculate this, I will never understand. And I did respond with actually quite simple when looking at the markets that are ripe for disruption. Now, a lot of these valuations are off. I mentioned this in a video recently when I did a video talking about this article. And what's comical, though, is that a lot of people will look at this and even look at this prediction and say, oh, well, it's the World Economic Forum, so who cares? There is so many large players out there that are predicting valuations within the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars around tokenization and the overall amount that could be tokenized by 2030. Little hint there, it's in the tens of trillions of dollars. As we look at this market, there's many markets outside of crypto that are ripe for disruption through tokenization, digitization, and just ultimately having an upgrade of their internal systems could create a massive amount of financial opportunity. Meaning, guess what? A lot of these values that you are seeing on the screen, well, tokenization and digitization could unlock trillions of dollars as well just by efficiencies being realized in. So as we do look at tokenization and we look at this type of technology within the space, yeah, it's extremely disruptive. And that is why when you go back in time and you look at some of these articles, like JP Morgan wants to bring trillions of dollars of tokenized assets to DeFi. This is clear to me, right? Like, although, yes, a lot of these articles that come out, are they just manipulation within the space? Technically, yes, you can look at that, but also long term, yeah, traditional entities like JP Morgan, BlackRock, and all these large names out there, all of them will be utilizing this type of technology and even spearheading a lot of the adoption around this type of technology. Enterprises, also big players around this type of technology. It's happening in real time, and it's happening now. And yes, it's going to take some time until we start to see big money flowing in. But in my opinion, yes, we are getting closer and closer to this point. And a lot of this did just get recently updated in terms of this article. It just got updated around May of this year. It's mainly just talking about where we are headed in terms of DeFi platforms and tokenization itself. In my opinion, as we look at what's happening around these traditional entities, it's clear to me that they are very bullish on this type of technology and what it can unlock around specific markets and assets. Also, BlackRock, just recently, December 1st, BlackRock CEO says next generation for markets is tokenization. Joins a growing number of firms backing the tokenization of securities. And remember, securities are a very large market. Trillions of dollars get settled in securities every single day. It's a huge area of opportunity. And again, as we look at what's happening, these traditional entities, they don't care about the negative news around crypto. Retail gets shaken up by it, but they don't care because they see how large of an opportunity this actually is. Now, also, recently as well, February of this year, HSBC Northern Trust estimate that 5 to 10% of assets will be tokenized by 2030. Now, I'm not too sure on how accurate this is, but they are talking about roughly $19.5 trillion compared to the $16 trillion predicted by BCG last year. Like I said, a lot of what we are seeing predicted around 2030 is in the tens of trillions of dollars being tokenized. We also do see, according to McKinsey, the total assets under management in 2021 amounted to $126 trillion compared to BCG's figure of $112 trillion. Using McKinsey's figure and a 5% compound growth rate gives AUM, assets under management, of around $195 trillion by 2030 with tokenization of 5 to 10% of that figure. Again, this is the big area that I'm looking at, tokenization, because this world of tokenization itself is going to grow rapidly once we start to see tokenization really become a big hit. And I know that it will be, because as you look at tokenization and the efficiencies that can be unlocked through it, it is so vast and it's so valuable in terms of the efficiencies itself, not just the amounts of money that will be tokenized. This is a crucial thing to focus on. And by the way, one thing that I've been very clear on is real estate. I said, going back to February of 2023, the global real estate market is valued at $300+ trillion. I strongly believe that within the next 10 years, we will see at least 1% of that tokenized on DLT. The multiplier effects of the utilization of this technology in industries like real estate is severely overlooked. And yes, it is. And listen, it could be way more than 1%. But 1% itself on DLT will change this entire market's valuation. And recently, with Hedera, going back to June 1st, Quarter Homes launches tokenized home equity platform on Hedera. A huge innovation. And this is big for Hedera. And it's all through Toko. Remember what I said about Toko. Pay attention to them, because the domino effects from some of these partnerships are going to be very large, and this is exactly one of them in a perfect example. Also, Aberdeen tokenizes money market fund on Hedera with Arcix. This was June 8th. In this month, we have already seen 2 major initiatives around tokenization. And then also, Red Swan at the end of May builds its token studio on Hedera. Again, another large real estate initiative. I'm telling you guys, rapid innovation is happening here around markets like real estate. And recently, the HBAR Bull did an interview actually with, it was a discussion with Quarter as well as Toko. And this is very interesting. So listen closely to this video. It's about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. By the way, go check out the HBAR Bull over on YouTube as well as on Twitter. But listen closely to this video, and this is exactly why I'm so damn bullish on tokenization.
All right, so Scott, you coined the term total value represented, or TVR. How important do you think this concept will become in the DLT space?
I am pretty confident it's going to be very relevant. It's still not, and we don't hear. It's great for you to remember it. Thanks, Brandon. It was about probably a year ago, I think I started coining the term, and it was partly as a reaction.
I'm paying attention.
Yeah, thank you. And honestly, in part, to me, it came from a slight reaction to the fascination with TVL, the sort of DeFi concept of total value locked. And if we look at the ambitions of Toko and the tokenization of real world assets and the digitization, tokenization of everything, you start to realize that there's something much bigger than merely the crypto space. Now, I don't know what today's prices are, but crypto markets maybe $1 trillion today. It sounds like a lot. But working with, quarter homes, and we're talking about residential real estate, just residential real estate, just in the US. So one asset class, one fraction of an asset class in one country is $40 odd trillion. As an asset class globally, we're talking $200 to $300 trillion. And that's just real estate.
And again, this is why I said, like, it's in the hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars in terms of the possible exposure that this type of technology can grasp. This is why I said to focus on tokenization as a service, because of how large it could be. And remember, we don't need to have just one project like Hedera spearheading the tokenization move. No, we could have multiple projects on board with this, because there's so much damn money there. And again, just percentages, like small percentages of these markets, right, being tokenized on these networks can change the valuations of the tokens themselves. Yesterday, I made a video talking about right now the transactional demand that's on Hedera only grasping about roughly $9.2 million in revenue every 6 months. But imagine trillions of dollars being tokenized on the network itself and the transactional demand that there will be. That would be absolutely monstrous in terms of the valuation for HBAR as a token itself.
Then you start looking at funds, private debt, equities, and actually private markets are far larger than public markets. So what we actually have is a perception, even in traditional finance, of the size of markets that's linked to very visible things like stock markets. But actually the private markets are 6, 7, 8, depending on what numbers you look at, times bigger than public markets. So actually we're talking about markets, 600 trillion, 800 trillion. These are the kind of numbers we're looking at in terms of addressable market. Now, how does that get to the answer to your question?
$600 to $800 trillion, right on par with my $867 trillion tweet that the World Economic Forum literally predicted.
Well, to me, what is going to be relevant is when I start entrusting my very valuable asset, whether it's a house or a financial product or an investable, interest of some sort. When I start entrusting it to a blockchain protocol, which one do I trust? And I think that's going to be essential. And if it becomes, when you get down to the technology, the governance aspects, this is why we joined Hedera so early on, where we looked at it from a technology point of view, from a scalability point of view, from a governing council point of view, and the sort of validator node and aspects of the protocol. This is where we think and we encourage. We spoke to Quarter and said, guys, we'd like to recommend you do this on Hedera, and these are the reasons why. And they believed us, and hence we've done the first token as a HTS token. So that's great.
So yeah, this is exactly why I've been saying, as we look at tokenization, especially on networks that are extremely efficient like Hedera is, these are going to be the ones that are spearheading this movement. A lot of these major platforms like Toko already have direct connections with some of the leading names out there around some of these markets. And I personally love to see this. Listen, anyone that's holding HBAR should be looking into this every single day, doing research on tokenization, because these are the networks that are so cheap. So
Scott,
so cheap to transact on. It doesn't. The overall efficiencies in terms of energy use as well. This is what is going to bring all of these big names over to Hedera. They don't want Ethereum. Who would want to tokenize real estate on Ethereum, paying massive amounts of fees? Honestly, with some of the fees on Ethereum, you could go out and buy real estate. That's how wild some of the fees are on Ethereum. So as we look at what Hedera is doing, and when we look at the move around tokenization, yeah, I do think that's going to be networks like Hedera that are extremely efficient, extremely easy and affordable to transact on. And these are going to be the ones that are, creating these massive innovations around tokenization. That's why projects like Toko are so interesting, because I think that these are going to be the leaders around tokenization because they already have direct connections with some world-leading giants within some of these areas of opportunity. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. So it's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are on this big world. That's been Nick. Peace out, guys.